Welcome to this screencast. We are looking at how data is being stored inside the memory of a computer. I've taken this picture from Wikipedia for binary file. So this is the representation in hexadecimal instead of binary of what we find inside the memory. And my first question to you is, where are the empty spaces? Where are the voids? So, no answers. Oh, maybe?
Zeros.
But then that was the trick. You fell into the trap, and that's the reason why I'm making this screencast for you.
The sets of 4 zeros.
Possibly. But what I really want to draw your attention to is the fact that in the memory of a computer, there are no voids. It's filled up with data. And we don't know whether these zeros represent nothing or whether they represent something. So in your GCSE, when you are being asked to calculate the size of a file, bear in mind that the size of a file is essentially going to be a 2D matrix. There's no possibility for emptiness, void. They cannot exist in the memory of a computer. There's something you've come across before called padding, which would be possibly adding some zeros to make up an 8-bit number, a 32-bit number, a 64-bit number, whatever your computer is using for their data. But you've got to pad it. There cannot be any voids. So if we go back to a picture file, if I was a painter looking at a canvas, I could say my character is just the line in red over there, and assume that the space that is void, that has no information, that has nothing, just has nothing, maybe even transparency. In computer science, the computer doesn't feel like that. You would have to account for every single individual pixel making up your image, regardless of whether the data in there is meaningful or not. And the next question is, what is on your curriculum that we've done in the lesson on images that has some benefit, potentially, if you use a good algorithm? What can you do with this space there that has the uniform background color? Anyone remembers that from the lesson on images? Please? Compress it. So you could describe to the computer that all this area there is one single color instead of having to store every single bit. But when you decode, when you uncompress your file in order to recreate the information that the computer will need to display the image on the screen. If you're using a compressed file format, when you are uncompressing it, eventually the computer will have to account for every single pixel on the screen when you are displaying the image. When you are doing a sound file, this time, this idea I had about 2D data, it's going to be time versus amplitude, but this is not like as if this here doesn't count. It still counts because what you're really measuring, what's the keyword for this amount of data in blue? The depth, correct. So if you know your bit depth, then you need to multiply that by what quantity in order to get the size of the file that's in the memory of a computer. How many times you sample? How many times you sample? So you multiply vertical quantity by how many samples you're taking horizontally. Similar to your image there. And at some point, someone could say, but sir, if we are encoding an image, is it really 2D? Or could you look at it like not in 2D? What kind of information is missing there that we did mention here? Where does the depth appear in a picture? It's a color depth. So you need your color information. So for every single 1 pixel like that, if you ask to calculate the size of a picture, you're going to first calculate the area, how many pixels there are, the resolution of that image, and then you'll have to time that by how many bits do you need to record the color information for every single pixel in that image. So remember this. Eventually, your file will look something like that inside the computer. There will be, in the memory of a computer, you will have to account for information that if this was not computer science, we would assume, oh, that doesn't matter because it's just emptiness. No, in computer science, you need to account for that. And that's what's happening with the bit depth. Is there any questions about this? So I look forward to our practice calculating the size of these files for sound and for images that you will have to answer in your GCSEs. Thank you.